let's talk about why running your business feels harder than it should. This episode is part 1 of the 4-part Systems Reset series. And in this series, we're going to look at 3 areas where pressure usually begins to show up first, especially when your work depends on close collaboration with clients. That's the back-end system supporting your business, the way new clients are brought into your ecosystem, and the structure of your calendar. Now, in today's episode, we're going to revisit the first place many service providers start to feel this strain, the operational systems running behind the scenes. Welcome to the Mind Your Time podcast. I'm Shannon Baker, your coffee-loving host, business strategist, and systems expert. And I guide consultants towards systems that protect their time and elevate their expertise. So if you're ready to run a business that supports your life and not the other way around, you're in the right place. Each episode shares grounded strategies rooted in my Power in Motion framework to help you lead your client experience with clarity and confidence. So grab a cup of coffee or your favorite beverage and let's dive in. I'm going to start by letting you in on some information that most people don't know about me, even if you've been listening to the podcast for a while. I didn't always have systems, and I definitely did not always love them. See, when I started my business as a virtual assistant over a decade ago, I didn't even really know what a system was. And when I say system, I'm talking about a documented process, automating what steps you can with tech, and then delegating what's left to someone else. So when I decided to start my business, I did all the research. I registered my business. I opened a business banking account. And in my mind, I thought if I just showed up and did great work and kept my clients happy, everything else would somehow fall into place. And the truth is, I landed some amazing clients. In fact, I still work with one of those very first clients today. But now I support them in a much more strategic capacity. But back then, behind the scenes of my business, everything was a total mess. My inbox was disorganized and overflowing all the time. My onboarding was scattered and inconsistent, and I said yes to way too many projects that drained me and monopolized my time and attention because I didn't have anything in place to keep control of my business. And it wasn't that I was bad at what I did. I was actually really good, if I'd say so myself. But the problem was that my back end really was duct taped together. And until I faced that truth, I kept hitting wall after wall, booked way too many of the wrong clients. And that's a story for another day. But I don't want you to make the same mistakes. So let's start by talking about 3 lessons that I learned in my journey as an online service provider and how you can avoid making some of those mistakes I did. Lesson number 1 is that meaningful work does not guarantee a smooth back end in your business. Neither your skill set nor your services are the problem either. You can be absolutely amazing at what you do, and you can still feel like you're drowning in your business. That's how I felt. I actually remember sitting on the sofa with my laptop on the dinner table after dinner, redoing another email newsletter for a client. Now, they had missed the deadline to approve their content again, and instead of enforcing that boundary, I ignored it like I had done so many times before, and I just made it work. And I remember thinking to myself, man, I really love what I do for this client, but why is this so hard? And why do I keep having to deal with this same issue? Well, guess what? The problem wasn't the client, and it wasn't my skill set. The problem was that I didn't have a system in place to protect my time, set clear expectations, reinforce my boundaries, and make that process run smoother. See, without systems, I kept finding myself in the same cycle of missed deadlines, stress, and frustration. That's the disconnect that so many business owners I meet run into. This alone proves that meaningful work doesn't automatically create structure in your business. Because you might love your clients and love the work that you do, but if every new client, new project, or every task forces you to reinvent the wheel, you're going to stay stuck in survival mode and eventually burn out. And that's not because you aren't capable. It's because your business doesn't have the foundation it needs to support you or protect you. And that's the part no one tells you about when you start a business. No one told me that, and I've talked to hundreds of business owners who've had the same type of experience. So being great at your craft, it's not enough to carry your business forward successfully. You need systems to make sure the business runs while you deliver your brilliance instead of your business running you. Now, if you are nodding your head because this sounds like you, don't worry. You don't have to fix everything at one time. That's exactly why I created the Back Office Power Checklist. It's a tool that shows you where the cracks are in your business back end so you can stop spinning your wheels and start fixing the right things first. The best part is it only takes a few minutes for you to complete, and it will save you weeks of guessing. Now, I'll tell you how you can grab that a little later in this episode. But let's talk about lesson number 2. The real reason discovery calls you're having feel off and your work days feel so draining. I remember a time in my business when my calendar was booked, like packed with discovery calls. That's everyone's dream, right? So at first, it was real exciting. I thought it meant my business was going to grow. But the truth is, too many of those calls were with people who were either not a good fit, weren't quite ready for my services yet, and a few other reasons. So it wasn't because my skills weren't strong enough, and it wasn't because I didn't know how to explain what I did. The real issue was that I didn't have a system in place to filter people out before they landed on my calendar. And let me tell you, when you spend your energy talking to people who were never meant to work with you, you walk away from those calls feeling drained, not energized. And it didn't stop there. When I was onboarding those who did say yes, it was just as messy because I didn't have a consistent process. So expectations weren't clear for me or for my clients. Even when they were right fit clients, the projects felt a lot more draining than they should have because we were constantly chasing clarity instead of starting from that point. Neither of us really knew what we needed to do to work together successfully. So here's the lesson in a nutshell. When your back end is missing structure, you pay the price in time, energy, and credibility. And it's not that you're attracting the wrong people because you're good at what you do, but it's because your systems aren't doing their job and protecting your energy and setting expectations from day one. That is exactly why I created resources like the 90-day roadmap and the welcome kit and onboarding process workbook inside the starter stack in the Mind Your Time Society. Members use these tools to get clear about how they want clients to move through their business from the very first touch point. And the roadmap helps them focus on building one system at a time without being overwhelmed. And then that workbook helps make onboarding consistent, professional, and crystal clear. As a matter of fact, one of the Mind Your Time Society members recently told me she didn't really think she was a systems person because she really isn't. But once she used the Back Office Power Checklist and the onboarding workbook, she realized that she wasn't the problem. It was her process. Now she's closing more aligned clients with ease and efficiency. See, when you've got those kinds of tools at your fingertips, discovery calls stop feeling like wasted time because your back end is already filtering out the wrong people and the right people move forward with you. And then onboarding stops being a drain because you've already set the tone and expectations right from the beginning. That simple shift allows you to stop being reactive, your business stops feeling so draining, and you are more focused and confident. Now, if you want to learn more about the Mind Your Time Society, go to theshannonbaker.com/membership for more details on what you can find when you join, because I'd love to see you inside. Now for lesson 3. Systems protect your peace and let you shine. The turning point in my business came when I finally started creating systems. And to my surprise, they didn't make me feel boxed in like people think they will. They actually gave me freedom to do my best work without having to carry the weight of everything else on my shoulders. Once I put simple workflows in place, created templates, my days felt lighter and I was able to work less. My discovery calls, they were more aligned because people knew what to expect before they even got on the phone with me, and so did I. Onboarding, that shifted from being a guessing game to a clearly defined process that set both me and my clients up for success from the very beginning. And the part that surprised me the most, my confidence skyrocketed. It went through the roof. Systems didn't make me less creative or make things less flexible. They made me feel more professional, more trusted, and more effective in delivering my services. Systems gave me the peace of mind I needed to focus on delivering my brilliance and caring for my clients. That's the biggest lesson I want you to take away today. Systems aren't about making your business robotic. They're about protecting your peace and creating space for you to shine. So to prove this, I have a quick win challenge for you. And this isn't just some helpful exercise. It's the first step toward building real clarity and saving you hours each month. This week, I want you to write down the top 3 things you repeat for every one of your clients. That's whether it's a question you answer on a call, instructions that you send, or a reminder that you find yourself giving over and over again. That list will be key to creating your first system. And then once it's on paper, you can turn it into a template or a checklist that saves you time and energy with every client. See how simple this can be? So let's recap what we've talked about today. Lesson number 1, being great at what you do isn't enough to keep your business running smoothly. Without systems, you're going to stay in survival mode and your business cannot thrive that way. Lesson 2, if your discovery calls feel off and your projects, they feel more complicated than they need to be, the problem is not your skill set. It's the missing system that should be filtering out the wrong people, letting the right ones through, and setting expectations as you start working with new clients. Lesson 3, systems do not restrict you, they protect you. They create the clarity and confidence you need to lead your business instead of your business running you. So if this episode has you realizing your back end is what's holding you back, the best thing that you can do is to start by grabbing the back office power checklist. It's a fillable Google Doc. It only takes you a few minutes to complete. But once you do that, you're going to walk away knowing exactly where the gaps are in your back end. I don't want you to just nod along. Grab it today so that you know what to fix first before you waste another month duct taping things together. Go to theshannonbaker.com/checklist, or you can click the link in the show notes. Pause this episode if you need to. I'm not going anywhere. Now, once you've done that, the next step is to close those gaps with real support. And that's where Founders Circle inside of the Mind Your Time Society comes in. It's where you stop trying to piece things together on your own and finally get the tools, templates, and guidance you need so that your back end can match your brilliance. If you join us inside, you'll get access to resources like the 90-day roadmap, the onboarding workbook, many more resources as well. And you'll have the confidence that comes from knowing your systems are working for you, not against you. So don't stop at awareness. Let's move into action mode. Grab the back office power checklist, then join me inside the Mind Your Time Society so you can finally feel like you're leading your business instead of scrambling to keep up. And let me tell you, this is just the beginning. Make sure you don't miss the next episode of this System Reset series. We're going to have a conversation about client onboarding and how to turn it from a time suck into a strategic advantage that wows your clients. Thank you for tuning in today. If this episode feels like a breath of fresh air, it's because you're already craving a business that supports your life, not one that steals your time. If you want help spotting what's quietly draining your time and energy, you can download the Back Office Power Checklist at theshannonbaker.com/checklist. And if this conversation resonated with you, make sure you're following the podcast on your favorite platform so you don't miss what's next. We'll keep breaking this down together, one intentional step at a time. So until next time, keep calm and streamline.